In the 1850s, physicists started to examine the passage of electricity through vacuum by putting two electrodes in a sealed vacuum tube. They discovered that some kind of rays were emitted from the cathode or the negative electrode. The rays were called cathode rays. Thomson in 1897 observed the deflection of cathode rays by both electric and magnetic field. From these deflection experiments, he concluded that the cathode rays must carry a negative charge. These negative charges particles were given the name electrons. Metals contain a large number of free electrons. At room temperature, electrons cannot escape the metal surface due to attraction forces of atomic nucleus. If the metal is heated to a high temperature, some of the free electrons may gain sufficient energy to escape the metal surface. The process of emission of electron from the hot metal surface is called thermonic emission. Thermonic emission can usually produced by electrically heating in a fine tungsten filament. Typical value of the voltage and current used for this purpose are 6 volt and 0.3 ampere respectively. Examine some important experiments performed for discovering the properties of the electrons. An electron gun is used to investigate the properties of electron beam. The electrons are produced by thermonic emission from a tungsten filament heated by 6 volt supply. A high positive potential is applied to a cylindrical anode. The electrons are accelerated to a high speed and pass through the hole of the anode in the form of a fine beam electrons. The whole setup is fitted in an evacuated glass bulb. Electric field by applying potential difference across two parallel metal plates separated by some distance. When an electron beam passes between the two poles, it can be seen that the electrons are deflected toward the positive plate. The reason for this is that electrons are attracted by the positive charge and are repelled by the negative charge due to force F is equal to QE, where Q is the electron charge and E is the electric field. Due to plates, the degree of deflection of electrons from their original direction is proportional to the strength of the electric field applied. The magnetic field at right angle to the beam of electrons by using a horseshoe magnet. The spot of the electron beam on the screen is getting deflected from its original direction. Now change the direction of the horseshoe magnet. We will see that spot on the fluorescent screen is getting deflected in the opposite direction. The cathode rays is an instrument which is used to display the magnitude of charging electrons, current or potential. The information is displayed on the screen on a cathode ray tube. This screen appears as a circular or rectangular window, usually with the centimeters graph superimposed on it. For example, the picture tube in our TV set at the display terminal of most computers are cathode rays. The cathode rays are oscilloscope, consist of the following components: the electron gun with control grid, the deflecting plates, a fluorescent screen. The electric gun consists of an electron source, which is an electrically heated cathode that ejects electrons. Electron gun can also an electrode called guard G for controlling the flow of electrons in the beam. The guard is connected to a negative potential. The more negative this potential is, more electrons will be repelled from the guard and hence fewer electrons will reach the anode and the screen. The number of electrons reaching the screen determines the brightness of the screen. Hence, the negative potential of the guard can be used as brighten control. The anode is connecting to the positive potential and hence is used to accelerate the electrons. The electrons are focused into a fine beam as they pass through the anode. After leaving the electron gun, the electron's beam can passes between a pair of horizontal plates. A potential difference applied between these plates deflects the beam in a vertical plane. This pair of plates provides the y-axis or vertical movement of the spot on the screen. Similarly, a pair of vertical plates provide the x-axis or horizontal movement of the spot on the screen. The screen of a cathode rays tube consists of a thin layer of phosphor, which is material that gives light as a result of bombardment by the fast moving electrons. The CRO used in many fields of science, displaying waveform, measuring voltage range, finding echoes sounding to find the depth of seabeds.